Thank you for choosing Wisdom of the Dharma. If you found this video insightful, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, so you never miss a new update. Your support helps us keep sharing powerful, life-changing wisdom with the world. And don't forget to drop a comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Let's grow and learn together. The wealth hidden in silence. Have you ever walked into a room and felt heavy? Not because someone said anything or because something bad happened there. Just a strange, weighty stillness. Almost like the air was stuck. Now imagine if that room was your home, and more specifically, a corner of your home you barely notice. What if that forgotten corner is quietly shaping your entire fortune? Blocking your money flow. Dulling your mental clarity. Maybe even feeding the feeling that no matter how hard you try, you're always starting from zero. Sounds dramatic? Maybe. But stay with me. Today's video isn't about superstition. It's not about praying to get rich overnight. It's about energy. Specifically, the quiet, often overlooked spiritual field within your home, and the strange power of a single corner. I know. It seems almost too simple. Place this one item in your house corner, the internet says, and wealth will come like winning the lottery. But let me tell you something as a long-time student of Dharma and Feng Shui. That claim isn't entirely wrong. Because true Feng Shui, the kind that flows with the teachings of mindfulness and intention, doesn't ask you to believe in magic. It invites you to understand energy, how it pools, how it gets stuck, and how you can guide it. In Buddhism, we say, where the mind goes, energy follows. And your home? It's an external reflection of your internal world. Which means that forgotten corner you haven't cleaned in months. That dark spot behind the couch where dust gathers and things get shoved? It might just be the energetic equivalent of mental clutter. Old guilt. Stagnation. But the good news is, just as you can cleanse the mind, you can cleanse the home. And just as you can retrain the mind to think clearly and attract peace, you can reposition your physical space to invite in prosperity. In this video, we'll walk through how to locate the true wealth corner of your home, and why it's so important. The spiritual science behind simple items like salt, lemon, water, and the Feng Shui jar. Real-life examples of people who shifted their homes, and watched their lives change. And most importantly, the lessons rooted in Buddhist wisdom about how wealth is not something you chase, but something you align with. This isn't just about money. It's about rebalancing the flow of life. So if you're feeling stuck in poverty, burdened by invisible blocks, or simply curious how your home reflects your karma, this video is for you. And before we begin, drop a comment below with a positive intention. Something as simple as, I'm ready to create a home that welcomes abundance. My space reflects the wealth I'm prepared to receive. Let's begin this journey together, one breath, one corner, one sacred act of presence at a time. Part 1. What is a wealth corner, really? Let's take the mystery out of it. In Feng Shui, the wealth corner isn't some mystical zone with a treasure map X painted on your floor. It's a very real, energetic location based on spatial orientation, traditionally, the farthest back left corner of your home when standing at the main entrance. But more than its physical placement, what makes this corner important is what it does energetically. In Buddhist philosophy, energy isn't woo-woo. It's cause and effect. Karma and motion. And in the home, corners are where energy settles. They're like still ponds in the river of your space's chi, life force. If these ponds are clean and nurtured, they hold life-giving water. But if left unattended, they become stagnant, heavy, and spiritually, very sticky. You may have noticed this. A cluttered corner invites even more clutter. A dark, Dusty corner feels like it's sucking the joy out of the room. Why? Because what isn't seen isn't blessed. And what isn't blessed doesn't flow. Here's a story from my own early Feng Shui practice. I once worked with a woman named Anne. Single mom. 2 jobs. Always broke. She wasn't irresponsible. She budgeted carefully, worked long hours, raised her kids with discipline and love. But somehow, money just slipped through her fingers. When we looked at her home, her southeast corner, the traditional wealth area, was a forgotten pile of boxes. Broken lamps. Her ex-husband's old toolbox. Stale energy from a life she had long since outgrown, but hadn't cleared. I asked her to do one thing before we talked about any money rituals. Empty that corner. Clean it with lemon water. Open the blinds. Put something beautiful and intentional there, even just a small plant and a handwritten note that said, "I am ready to grow." That's it. No coin bowls. No chanting. 3 months later, Anne called me. Her freelance work had doubled. She landed a government contract she'd once thought was out of reach. Her mood had improved. She was even sleeping better. Coincidence? Maybe. Or maybe when we start treating our space with reverence, our life starts responding in kind. In Feng Shui and Buddhist psychology alike, intention is everything. The outer world isn't some separate field we live inside, it's an extension of our mind. Our beliefs. Our readiness. The wealth corner is sacred not because money lives there, but because it reflects our willingness to create space for prosperity. Acknowledge the past and let it go. Welcome clarity, balance, and flow. So don't start with a fancy item. Start with awareness. Is that corner clean? Is it quiet? Is it respected? You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to be willing to begin. Before we continue, if what we've shared so far has awakened something in you, even just a quiet curiosity, take a moment to support this journey. Like this video to help it reach others seeking the same clarity. Subscribe to Wisdom of the Dharma to walk this mindful path together. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss the wisdom waiting in the next corner of your home. And in the comments, leave a gentle affirmation to anchor your energy, something like, "My space is ready for abundance," or "I open my home to peace and prosperity." Now, let's explore the spiritual power behind the 4 simplest items you may already have: salt, lemon, water, and a humble jar, and why they might just be the missing key in your space. Part 2. The 4 spiritual tools and why they work. Have you ever held a seed in your hand? It's so small, quiet, unimpressive. You could toss it aside and not think twice. But if you plant it in the right soil, with the right light, and just enough water, it becomes a tree. And that tree might feed your family for generations. That's what these 4 tools are like. At first glance, they seem ordinary. A bowl of salt. A lemon. A glass jar. A little water. But when placed in the right corner of your home, with intention and understanding, they become energetic seeds of transformation. Let's explore what they truly mean beyond their physical form. Tool number 1, the salt bowl, crystal stillness that absorbs chaos. Salt has been used in nearly every spiritual tradition, Hindu, Christian, Buddhist, not because it's exotic, but because it's elemental. Pure. Silent. It holds the essence of clarity. In Buddhism, salt often represents discernment. It's the clear awareness that separates truth from illusion, wholesome from unwholesome. And energetically, salt has the remarkable ability to absorb that which is misaligned. In a stagnant corner of your home, salt becomes the silent guardian. It doesn't push or fight, it simply receives. It listens. And in its stillness, It draws in the chaos so that clarity can return. How to create it. Take a small glass or ceramic bowl, never plastic. Pour in coarse rock salt until it's 3/4 full. Gently arrange 6 ancient-style coins in a circle, yang side up, like a mandala of prosperity. Then, slowly pour clean water over the salt until it just covers the surface. Set it in your wealth corner with reverence, not urgency. Then, leave it undisturbed. Do not peek. Do not explain it to others. Let it work in silence. I once visited an elderly man, recently widowed. His home had turned heavy, full of silence, but not the peaceful kind. I guided him through this simple ritual. 1 week later, he called to say, "The house feels lighter. Like she's resting now, and so am I." Salt doesn't just cleanse the space. It helps the heart release what no longer serves. Tool number 2, lemon, the living flame of yang energy. Lemon is not just a fruit. In traditional energy systems, it's considered concentrated yang, sharp, uplifting, clarifying. Where salt absorbs, lemon activates. Its bright color, strong scent, and acidic nature break through stagnation. It brings sunlight into dark corners, not just physically, but vibrationally. In Buddhist thought, lemon is like mindfulness. Its presence awakens. It stops the sleepwalking of the soul. How to use it. Take 3 fresh lemons. Make a small X-shaped cut on each and sprinkle a pinch of pure sea salt inside. Arrange them on a white ceramic plate. Place this plate in the southeast corner of your home, the traditional wealth sector. Every 3 days, replace the lemons. Not because they look bad, but because they've served their time. Use gloves or tissue to remove them gently. Treat the act like saying goodbye to old thoughts. Alternatively, use lemon essential oil diluted in water and a pinch of salt. Mist this spray into corners as a cleansing ritual. One of my students, a woman battling quiet depression, placed these lemons in her studio apartment. She told me, "I didn't expect anything. But after a few days, I just started wanting to open the windows again." The lemons hadn't changed her life. They changed her energy. And her energy changed everything else. Tool number 3, the Feng Shui jar, a vessel of inner vows. At first glance, it looks like a jar of objects. But a proper Feng Shui jar is more than a container, it's a spiritual contract. It's a vessel of intent. In the Dharma, we speak of wholesome vows, acts of body, speech, and mind made with clarity. The Feng Shui jar is a way to anchor those vows into physical space. It holds not just coins or rice, but your willingness to participate in abundance with consciousness. How to prepare it. Use a handcrafted ceramic, earthenware, or clear glass jar, nothing industrial or artificial. Inside, place a layer of clean white rice, abundance and nourishment, a circle of round coins, symbolizing the unbroken flow of wealth, a layer of rock salt, purification and stability, a single clear quartz or small Feng Shui stone, spiritual seal. Place the jar in the southeast, for growth, or northeast, for long-term stability, corner of your home. Never hide it in a drawer, nor flaunt it like decoration. Let it exist in soft light, like a monk meditating in the shade of a tree. For many who've built a Feng Shui jar in silence, the result is not always financial first. One woman reported, "It helped me stop worrying about money constantly. And ironically, once I stopped panicking, money started coming." The jar doesn't give you wealth. It reminds you to become the type of person wealth visits naturally. Tool number 4, water feature, the flow of generosity. Water is life. In Buddhist texts, water is often the first offering, a symbol of humility, clarity, and giving. In Feng Shui, water is the circulating force that nourishes qi and symbolizes prosperity's natural flow. But not all water helps. A leaky pipe drains energy. Still water grows heavy. Only moving water, placed mindfully, brings benefit. How to use it? You don't need a big fountain. Even a small glass bowl with clean water and white pebbles can serve. Add a drop of essential oil, peppermint for clarity, sweet orange for joy. Place this in your wealth corner and change the water weekly. The key is purity. Stagnant water equals stagnant fortune. You may recite a mantra softly while pouring. As this water flows, so may generosity move through my life. A friend of mine, a longtime lay practitioner, kept a small water bowl with floating camellia petals in his home. It wasn't flashy, but he would replace it each morning after meditation. He once said, "When I stopped trying to make money, and started trying to keep my energy clean, people started offering me work out of nowhere." Closing this section with stillness. Salt, lemon, jar, and water. 4 very simple tools. All of them ordinary. None of them powerful on their own. But placed with presence. With clarity. With the silent wish to bring harmony between body, home, and spirit. They become more than tools. They become practice. Because in the end, Feng Shui is not about fixing a room. It's about remembering that space is sacred, and how you treat your environment reflects how ready you are to receive what the universe already wants to give you. In the next part, we'll step out of theory and into real life. I'll share 3 true stories of transformation, of people, just like you, who shifted one corner of their homes and watched their fortune, their energy, and their lives quietly begin to change. Let's continue. Part 3, Real-Life Examples of Home Wealth Activation. Have you ever moved just one small object in your home and, almost inexplicably, felt a shift? Maybe the air seemed lighter, your sleep deeper, or a sense of irritation you couldn't name just faded. It's not imagination. It's energy. Energy doesn't lie. It doesn't ask you to believe. It only asks you to notice. The following stories are not legends or superstitions. They're stories from ordinary people, carpenters, single parents, freelance workers, who were not looking for miracles. They simply shifted something in their space. And something began to shift within them. Story 1, The Carpenter and the Misdirected Altar. Miguel was a carpenter in his early 50s. Hard-working, honest, skilled with his hands. And yet, he always felt like money slipped through his fingers. No matter how many projects he booked, something always came up: repairs, late payments, sudden expenses. When we looked at the layout of his modest home, I noticed his altar to his late parents had been placed near the bathroom, with its back directly facing the toilet wall. His reasoning was simple: there was space there. It's quiet. But in energy work, not all quiet is sacred. Some quiet is simply stagnant. Bathrooms, in Feng Shui, represent the flow of waste, cleansing, yes, but also release. When paired with ancestral energy, it can create a subtle conflict, reverence next to rejection. I asked Miguel to move the altar just a few feet into the southeastern corner of his living room. He lit a candle, said a small prayer in Spanish, and left a cup of water beside the picture of his father. He didn't expect anything. But within a few weeks, things changed. A long-delayed payment came through. A client he had forgotten called back with a large project. Most interestingly, he told me his dreams changed, less restless, more peaceful. It felt like my father finally had a proper seat in the house, he said. Sometimes, wealth doesn't come from new sources, it comes from finally removing the invisible blocks. Story 2, The Single Mother and the Bowl of Water. Jasmine lived in a small rental apartment with her son. She worked 2 jobs, barely made rent, and often woke up anxious, like she was already behind before the day began. Her space was clean but sparse. She didn't have the budget for Feng Shui decorations, and she wasn't interested in rituals. "I just want to breathe better," she said. We walked through her home gently, quietly. I guided her to the far left corner from her front door, her wealth corner. It was empty. Not neglected, just neutral. No light. No presence. I asked her if she'd be willing to place a small bowl of water there. Add a few white stones. A drop of sweet orange oil. And every morning, take 3 conscious breaths in front of it before waking her son. She laughed. "That's it?" "Yes," I said. "And that's everything." 2 months later, she sent a voice message. Her boss had offered her a raise. Her son was sleeping better. And, more than anything, she felt less afraid of the month ahead. That water bowl became her anchor. Not because it had power, but because she brought power to it, through breath, intention, and gentleness. Story 3, The Freelancer and the Forgotten Lemons. Eric was a freelance designer living in a shared loft. Creative, intelligent, but often overwhelmed. He told me he couldn't focus. He'd start 5 things and finish none. His room felt chaotic, even when it looked clean. When we scanned his space, one corner caught my eye, an oddly shaped section near his desk, filled with tangled cables, an old guitar, and a broken lamp. "That corner gives me anxiety," he admitted. We cleared it. Slowly. Respectfully. Then I asked him to place 3 fresh lemons on a plate. A shallow cut in each. A pinch of salt. Nothing else. "Why lemons?" he asked. "They hold light," I said. "Sometimes your mind needs a reminder of sunlight, even indoors." 2 weeks later, Eric called to say he'd signed a new client and finally finished a project he'd been procrastinating on for 6 months. But that wasn't the most important part. "I don't hate that corner anymore," he said. "It's strange, but I actually find myself staring at the lemons when I feel stuck. Like they're little yellow stop signs telling me to breathe." He hadn't changed jobs. Or diet. Or routines. He just gave attention to what had long gone unseen. No corner is ever truly poor. If these stories have anything in common, it's this. Not one person waited to believe before they acted. Not one person bought something expensive. Not one person prayed to get rich. They simply changed their relationship to their space. They cleaned. They noticed. They placed a bowl, or a lemon, or a picture, with sincerity. And in doing so, they reawakened something ancient and quiet inside them. Wealth doesn't rush in because of rituals. It arrives when your home begins to align with your energy. And your energy begins to align with your intentions. As one monk once told me, there are no cursed homes, only forgotten corners waiting to be seen again. In the next part, we'll explore why even the most well-intentioned Feng Shui setups can fail, and how to avoid 5 common mistakes that silently undo the good you've already planted. Let's continue. Before we move on, take a moment to reflect. Has there ever been a corner in your home, physical or emotional, that you've avoided for far too long? If this part of the journey stirred something in you, support this space we're building together. Like this video to help it reach others walking the same quiet path. Subscribe to Wisdom of the Dharma for more reflections that blend ancient wisdom with everyday living. And in the comments, share with us. What's one corner in your life, literal or symbolic, that you're finally ready to see again? Now, let's look deeper into the common mistakes people make even when trying to do all the right things, so your efforts don't quietly go to waste. Part 4. 5 common mistakes that block your wealth energy. You've placed the salt bowl with care. You've chosen your corner with intention. You speak your morning affirmations sincerely. And yet, nothing shifts. The financial tension lingers. The space still feels heavy. You begin to wonder, did I miss something? Or is this all just symbolic? The truth is subtler than we think. Intent, while essential, is not everything. Because energy, like karma, responds not just to action, but to alignment. Many well-meaning people unknowingly make quiet but significant missteps that reverse the flow of prosperity. Not out of ignorance, but simply habit or lack of presence. Let's explore 5 of the most common ones. Mistake 1. Placing in darkness. Light is life. The most frequent mistake? Putting wealth items in places that are dark, dusty, or forgotten, behind furniture, near toilets, under stairs. In Feng Shui, light is yang energy, life, clarity, vision. In the Dharma, light is wisdom. Darkness is where awareness fades. A client once placed her wealth altar in a beautiful cabinet. But it remained closed, unlit. The energy, she said, felt invisible. If your corner can't breathe, your fortune can't move. Before anything else, ask, is this space open? Bright? Alive? If not, begin by letting in light. Even sunlight is energy medicine. Mistake 2. Using dead materials, the energy of what you touch. In haste, many use what's easy, plastic bowls, synthetic containers, metal dishes. But every material vibrates. And not all carry life force. Plastic doesn't breathe. It holds no natural rhythm. In Buddhist terms, it lacks elemental essence. Natural materials, glass, ceramic, clay, wood, carry Earth's memory. They ground, they hold, they harmonize. Would you serve tea to a master in a disposable cup? Then don't offer your intentions in one either. Let your objects be as respectful as your wish. Mistake 3. Keeping broken or unloved objects nearby. Your Feng Shui items may be perfectly placed. But nearby, a frayed cord, a bitter photo, a pile of unpaid papers. Suddenly, energy collapses. In Buddhist psychology, all objects carry mind. A cracked item holds disruption. A neglected item, silence. These things speak into your sacred space. To attract growth, your corner must be free of decay. Clear what no longer serves. Release it kindly. Every item either binds or liberates. Mistake 4. Forgetting renewal, the impermanence principle. Even perfect objects require tending. Salt saturates. Lemons rot. Water stills. Time moves, and so must we. In Dharma, impermanence is not tragedy, it's invitation. A salt bowl ignored becomes heavy. A lemon left too long becomes what it came to clear. Set a rhythm. Lemons every 3 days. Water weekly. Salt every 2 months. Don't maintain, renew. Treat it as you would sweep a sacred floor. Mistake 5. Misalignment with direction, the Dharma of placement. Feng Shui honors harmony between object, element, and direction. Place water in the fire zone, or metal in the wood sector, and you create dissonance. It's not punishment, it's energetic misalignment. Remember, southeast is wealth, invite water, wood, growth. South is fire, don't drown it with water. Center is health, don't weigh it with heavy minerals. Placement is mindfulness in motion. When direction, material, and intention align, so does energy. Space is a mirror, not a machine. Too often, Feng Shui becomes a checklist: place this, recite that. But space doesn't respond to formulas. It responds to frequency. Your home reflects your inner climate. Your corners mirror your consciousness. Wealth is not a trick. It is coherence. It is peace, balance, and presence. To fix a mistake is not to correct, it is to realign. In the next part, we'll explore how to nourish your wealth corner not just with things, but with energy. With stillness. With practice. Let's continue. Part 5, Nourishing Wealth Through Presence. Wealth is not a finish line. It's a garden. And like any garden, it cannot thrive on intention alone. You can plant the right seeds, salt, lemon, water, even a Feng Shui jar, but without daily care, they will wither. Not because they're flawed, but because life responds to attention. A wealth corner, no matter how beautifully arranged, is only as alive as your relationship with it. That's why I invite you to begin, not with ritual, but with presence. Each morning, before the world gets loud, pause in front of your chosen corner. No incense needed. No grand gesture. Simply stand. Breathe. Feel your feet grounded. Let your hands gently meet at the heart. Take 3 slow breaths. And then, quietly, make contact. Touch the object you've placed there, your bowl of salt, your lemon plate, your jar. Not as a superstition, but as a sacred greeting. As if to say, I'm here. I'm listening. I'm ready. You don't have to say affirmations out loud. The deeper invitation is not to convince the universe, but to remember yourself. To recall that this space is a mirror of your inner steadiness. That wealth, in the truest sense, begins with awareness. In Buddhist practice, we often say, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So if you approach this corner with care, you begin to carry that care into your day, into how you speak, how you earn, how you give, how you rest. And slowly, what began as a space for money becomes a space for mindfulness. A space that teaches you to receive without gripping, to release without fear. Do this not once, but every day. Let it become your quiet rhythm. Your moment of grounding. Because over time, what you repeat becomes who you are. And who you are attracts its echo. You're not just changing your home. You're changing your energy. And your energy is what shapes your path. Wealth is not something you chase. It is something you grow. And it grows when you show up, not just once, but again and again, with a calm hand and a clear heart. Let this corner be your beginning. Before you go, take a moment to reflect on what today's journey has stirred within you. If something in this video helped you breathe a little deeper, see your space a little differently, or remember something long forgotten, consider supporting this shared path. Like this video so others walking quietly through life might find it too. Subscribe to Wisdom of the Dharma if you'd like to receive more teachings that blend ancient insight with everyday energy. And turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next quiet step. In the comments, leave a small affirmation, a gentle vow to yourself. Something like, I choose to nourish my space with peace and presence. Or, each day, I invite in clarity, care, and quiet abundance. Thank you for being here. May your home be a reflection of your light. And may each corner you touch become a blessing returned. Until next time, peace and practice.